I want to be very clear, like we have for a long time now. The Greens are not only calling for a ceasefire, we are not only calling for an end to the occupation of Palestine, we are not only calling for an end to the regime of apartheid carried out against the Palestinian people by the State of Israel, but we are calling for a free Palestine. We are calling for an end to the brutal, decades-long blockade of Gaza. And why are we doing this? Because we are not free until everyone is free, and we are not free until Palestine is free. I want to touch on something that's going on at the moment, because so much of the political and media establishment are playing a trick on the Australian people and lying to them. And they are trying to say a word, they say it again and again, complicated. They love to say that things are complicated.
Shame.
But there is nothing complicated. There is nothing complicated about genocide. There is nothing complicated about the fact that when the Israeli military bombs schools, bakeries, refugee camps, hospitals, ambulances, that is not Israel defending itself. That is Israel carrying out a genocide against the Palestinian people. When doctors have to perform C-sections on pregnant women without anaesthetic because the Israeli government has blocked medical supplies, that is not Israel defending itself. That is a war crime and should be prosecuted. When the Israeli defense minister describes Palestinians living in Gaza as human animals, those are the words of a government who intend to attempt to carry out a genocide. And when we know for decades now, Palestinian people have been treated as second-class citizens with little rights, often imprisoned for no reason, having to get permits to move around in their own country. That is not a conflict. That is a regime of apartheid.
Shame.
And let's touch on one last thing that the media like to use in language. 11,000 Palestinians didn't just die in Gaza, and 4,500 children, they were murdered by the Israeli military. It's easy right now to lose hope. It is. It's brutal. And I want to acknowledge in particular today anyone here with relatives in Palestine, because no one here can properly imagine the horror and the pain that you must be going through. But a challenge for all of us collectively here today, when you think about the heroes in Palestine, the journalists, the nurses, the doctors, the parents, who have not lost hope, it is our job not to lose hope either. When the Australian Labor government not only export arms and weapons to Israel, not only refuse to condemn Israeli war crimes, but can't even bring themselves to call for a ceasefire when children and men and women are being bombed indiscriminately, then it is our job to call that out and to call it for what it is, complicity in mass war crimes. And so there's a lot of things that we can do. Keep coming to these rallies. If you wake up one morning and you're feeling tired, or it's raining a little bit, or you're feeling a little bit down, and you think, oh, maybe I'll miss this rally, don't. If you live in an electorate where it has a Labor or Liberal member, call and email them and tell them you will never vote for them again if their party can't even call for a ceasefire. Support the boycott movements. Support the trade unionists who are pushing to refuse to export weapons to Israel. Call on the Australian government to call for a prosecution of war crimes carried out by the Israeli government. Join in the calls for the Australian government to place a weapons and arms embargo on the state of Israel. Because we have to find every way to apply pressure, because really why we are here today is to say to the Australian government, not in our name. Not in our name. We will not blink. We will not stop calling for a ceasefire. We will not stop calling for a prosecution of war crimes. We will not stop supporting a free Palestine and calling for an end to the apartheid. We are with you every single step of the way. We will not back down, regardless of the electoral consequences, by the way, because we are here for the right and justice and humanity and for people's lives. Thank you.